Good morning and welcome to Kon Tum town. That was a fantastic little banh mi opla, just a little bread and egg and some greenery on a Vietnamese bread roll known as banh mi. And we're just taking a little wander around town. That doesn't ever end well.
Kon Tum in Vietnam's central highlands is the capital city of the province of the same name. It's remote, close by the Laos and Cambodian borders, and well away from Vietnam's main tourist trails. I ended up in Kon Tum because I wanted to make a pretty obscure border crossing into Laos at a place called Bana.
Sao Đại Phong không làm nữa tại vì lớn tuổi rồi.
I had a couple of great days exploring Kon Tum.
Từ mấy giờ sáng đến mấy giờ chiều?
Từ 3 giờ sáng, rồi tới 11 giờ, 12 giờ về nghỉ, chiều 2 giờ đi tiếp.
Often these small towns are perfect for getting a real taste of Vietnam. Places like this market are always great for getting started in any town. And people like this lady really help you get your bearings.
Just going to show you a little collection of clips from my few days of wandering around here. It's been a great time. It's a really simple place. I mean, don't come here expecting incredible kind of tourism sites. It's just a really pleasant place. It's very mellow. The people are wonderfully friendly. And the air's clean and you can sort of get on a motorcycle. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a bicycle for rent, which was a bit frustrating.
We were admiring this lovely place when we got chatting with the owner, a Kon Tum native who's lived in the United States since soon after the Vietnam War ended. She still loves to come back here as often as possible.
Có hay không? Xe cũ đúng không?
Cũ.
Xem, tên là gì?
Giấc mơ xưa.
Rồi bà vẫn đọc sách như thế à?
We caught Bar out when she was midway through a Vietnamese take on Mills and Boon.
2 tháng nữa. Sau khi mà ba xong ở đây cũng có thanh long không?
She invited us out the back for a look at her dragon fruit grow.
Salad gì?
Salad đúng rồi. Salad búp, salad giòn, salad mỡ.
À thế á?
Vâng.
Cái này là cây gì?
Thanh long.
Thanh long, dragon fruit.
Cái này là thanh long luộc trắng.
The Central Highlands is a part of Vietnam that was inhabited almost exclusively by ethnic minority people until the 19th century.
Better just make sure these dogs don't go from. Hey! Hey! Psst! Psst! Hey! Usually works. Ah! Okay. Now I just got the little guys chasing me. But I was bitten by a dog in Hoi An about a couple of years ago, which ended up causing quite a lot of headaches with rabies injections. I think they were concerned the dog might have caught rabies. Anyway, here we are in Kon Tum, which is, as I say, about 8 k's, 10 k's out of Kon Tum town in Vietnam's Central Highlands. And pretty obviously here, this is a Christian, I suspect Catholic town. There are lots of churches in Kon Tum. The church has a very big presence, and this is the main church in Kon Tum. And this is a traditional mud house, which is a pretty awesome little structure. Love these houses.
My high regard for these houses may seem a tad
Wonderful.
strange, but they are so perfect and simple in their setting.
I guess the temperature here is also fantastic compared to other parts of Vietnam. So you've got, but this elevation, the stilts would keep these places even cooler, but you don't have the same degree of heat here in summer that you have elsewhere in places like Hanoi and Saigon. Now the Bana people are most famous for these structures, the Nhà Dòng, which is the community house in the village. Not sure what's inside, let's have a look. Nothing much at all. Picture of Ho Chi Minh. Vietnam has, I think, 54 ethnic minority groups. So the Bana people here are but one of those groups. And what's been quite remarkable since we left Hoi An to travel in these parts is how many of these different ethnic minority groups we've already encountered. Nhưng mà ở nhà nói tiếng Bana và nói chuyện với nhau bằng tiếng Bana, đúng không? Ah, okay. So I'm just asking this lady about what happens in the families here, and apparently they speak the Bana native tongue in their family home, but they all speak Vietnamese as well. Có trường gần đây không?
Trường học kia.
Ah, there's the school right there. But she did tell me that they study sort of 10 years, so that's a good sign. Here's another amazing house.
In the early 90s, a visit to a place like this would be bleak, with visible poverty, sickness, malnutrition, and a lack of schooling. There have been huge improvements over those 2-3 decades.
We're in a place called Dak To, and this is, I'm walking along an old US military airstrip. There are lots of them in Laos and here in Vietnam, and this one's in remarkably good condition. Originally it was a special forces base, and over to the west is the Lao border, and that's and this base was set up as a way of trying to stop North Vietnamese infiltration and the supply line into South Vietnam.
John Paul Vann, the subject of Neil Sheehan's Pulitzer Prize-winning history, A Bright Shining Lie, died in Kon Tum province in 1972. And Australian Keith Payne was awarded a VC for his role in the 1969 Battle of Ben Het, not far from here.
And it's really kind of spooky to come to places like this now. We've got people, locals, and these are all ethnic minority people. It's rather bizarre to be standing next to one of the sort of major military airstrips of the Vietnam War.
These ladies are working a cassava field, and they explain to me how tough life still is out here. They weren't especially interested in the fact that they were working on what was an old US military base. They had more pressing things to think about.
Không, mà hai bạn người Mỹ và tôi là người Úc ạ.
Dặn cho họ nói là.
So I'm still in Kontum, and I'm this afternoon heading out with my new friend Mr. An from Eva Cafe in Kontum, and he's taking me out. Where are we headed? Which direction are we headed? Is it north or south or east or west? I don't think Mr. An can't hear me. But anyway, we're heading somewhere different to where I headed yesterday. One of the interesting things about visiting this area is that, I hope you like the soundtrack, by the way, is that all the ethnic minorities that you encounter here are completely different to the minorities that you encounter in Vietnam's far north. So places like Sapa, Ha Giang, you don't meet the same minorities in this part of Vietnam as you do in the far north. Quá tươi.
Quá tươi luôn, mới đem về.
Nước sông có sạch nhiều không anh?
Sạch.
One of the most striking things about being in these places is how incredibly friendly, and I include the towns as well, like Kon Tum and Pleiku. The people are just so welcoming and friendly.
Anh đi làm con tu chưa?
Có mới đi về, đang đi về đây.
Ở đó nhiều nhà đẹp hơn đây mà.
Có nhà đẹp ở đó, khi mà ở đây chắc đẹp hơn. Nhưng mà anh nói là anh ở dân tộc nào ạ?
Rơ Ngao.
Răng Ngao hả?
Rơ Ngao.
Rơ Ngao. Ở đây nhiều dân tộc đúng không?
Ở đây
Cũng ít thôi.
Ở đây thì tất cả mười mấy dân tộc ở trong tỉnh Kon Tum.
Yên tính và dễ thương. My little stay in Kon Tum's had a bunch of nice surprises, and one of them has definitely been discovering this old building here, this old seminary, the old Catholic seminary, which is in the middle of town. I've got to say, the Catholic Church has a lot of real estate in the middle of Kon Tum, and this is probably the most spectacular building, this old seminary. Let's take a look at it.
Most of the church buildings in Kon Tum draw on the sort of architectural character of the local houses.
While I was here, I had the opportunity to meet a wonderful old priest. He was 94 years old. He was actually the uncle of one of the guys that took me around here. And what a delightful man.
2 năm rồi.
Mới đi.
Ông Khôi 2 năm rồi. Còn Phước là được 4 năm rồi. Sắp về rồi.
He spent most of his life in parishes around here in Vietnam's Central Highlands. So he speaks not only perfect French, and he didn't speak English, but he speaks many of the local tribal dialects from this area. So apparently about another 10 languages. Wonderful man, and another fine example of how I'm always amazed, and if you've followed any of these videos before, you would have seen how amazed I am by the number of Vietnamese post-90 who are still incredibly fit and healthy. I'd love to know their secret. And inside the old seminary building is this museum, which is dedicated both to the traditional ethnic minorities of this area, of the Central Highlands, and also tells a bit of the story of the Catholic Church, which has been present here since the mid-19th century. That's when the first parishes kicked off. The class of 1929 out the front of this building.
Thanks for joining me for this little slice of travel life from Kon Tum, Vietnam. I'm having a ball going through this travel archive, so we will talk again very soon.